Hello, and welcome to the Knit and Grace podcast. Let's talk about the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool Make-Along. Hi there, and welcome back if you are a returning viewer. If you are new here, my name is Mia, and I am the maker behind Knit and Grace. And today we're going to talk all about my first ever make-along that I'll be hosting on the Knit and Grace channel. And it is knitting Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. And so the way that this video is going to be set up today is first we're going to go over the knit along rules. Then we're going to talk about the pattern that I will be making, and then I've actually sourced 15 free patterns for you all if you want to join in on the knit along, or the make along I should say. So the make-along is going to run from August 1st until October 28th. I'm just checking my notes here. And so it will have already started by the time that you're seeing this video on the 6th. And you can definitely join in now, join in at any time, and it's going to run all the way through October 28th. And so the reason why I wanted to host this little make-along here is, as many of us knitters here in the US are gearing up to go to Rhinebeck in October, I wanted to sort of find a way to include everyone, not only who is going to Rhinebeck, but also those that maybe can't make it to Rhinebeck, and then also just focus on and highlight some more budget-friendly yarns. So, you know, as knitters, we definitely like to indulge. I definitely like to indulge in some of my yarn purchases, but not every single yarn, and I should say not every single quality yarn has to be expensive. And so Lion Brand is a readily accessible brand that many of us knitters know, and crocheters alike, actually probably more crocheters because they definitely make tons of crochet yarns. And their fisherman's wool is a 100% non-superwash, rustic, beautiful wool that is extremely affordable at $13.99 US, and it often goes on sale. So that's kind of my reasoning for hosting this little make-along. So in terms of what you have to do to participate in the make-along, you will have to use the hashtag Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool knit along. It is a make-along, but I kind of just thought of the hashtag before I even went ahead and, you know, sort of thought of this. So it is a make-along. You can submit not necessarily only knitted items, but crocheted items as well. But the hashtag will be a KAL. And then the FO, or finished object hashtag, will be the Line Brand Fisherman's Wool Knit Along FO. And so the rules for this make along are pretty simple. You just need to make something in Line Brand's Fisherman's Wool, and it does need to be a complete object, so a completely finished object, since we are going to be working on this for just over 12 weeks. And you can post all of your progress in the Knit Along thread on Instagram, and then post your final object in the FO thread so that I can pick a winner from the FO thread. So only winners will be chosen from the FO thread, and please only post finished objects to that thread. And the reason why I'm hosting this over on Instagram is just that it's easier for me. If there's enough of a need for people who want me to host it over on Ravelry as well, I may open up a Ravelry thread as well. But for now, we're just gonna say it's an Instagram only make along. Let's see. So I think that is really the rules. It's pretty simple. You have to have a finished object by October 28th and post it to the FO thread. Now, with regard to the prizes, I have identified the first prize and what that's going to be. And so the first prize is going to be a hand-sewn town bag by Grainline Studio, along with a sweater's quantity of Line Brand Fisherman's Wool. And that prize will be available to a winner within the US and Canada. It's just simply because shipping outside of US and Canada is pretty exorbitant at the moment. And so that's what I have here. I actually have my own town bag here in the yarn that I will be using for my project here. But the winner will be winning a town bag in a solid brown color that I will be hand sewing, and 4 skeins of Line Brand Fisherman's Wool. So I wanted to show you the skeins that you will be winning, since they are not the same color that I will be knitting up, but I do still have them in the bag, and I want to keep them in the bag, so that's why they're not kind of displayed here. And so these skeins that will go to the winner these are 3, but there are 4. You will win 4 skeins of the Line Brand Fisherman's Wool, and this is the color Brown Heather, which is the number 125 is the color number. The color name is Brown Heather. So that is what the first prize winner will be winning. And then I'm going to have additionally 3 slots that's open to all, but especially for our international audience here. I will be giving away 3 patterns. I haven't identified the pattern or all of the patterns yet. Sophie of the Knit Pearl Girl has graciously volunteered pattern and a pattern code for upcoming design, which is what I will be working on. So that will be one of the patterns. And then I will identify the other 2 patterns, which will be suitable for Line Brand Fisherman's Wool. So that will be open to the international community, you know, and if it's I'll try to identify a pattern that's not necessarily Ravelry only, so that way if you don't use Ravelry, I don't know how I'll do that, maybe like buy a gift card and gift you the gift card to a maker's like web shop if you don't use Ravelry, but we'll work out the specifics. So there's going to be 1 grand prize winner within the US and Canada, and there's going to be 3 second prize winners who will win patterns that are suitable to be used with Line Brand Fisherman's Wool. So now that we have gotten the rules and the make-along specifics out of the way, I wanted to chat through the project that I will be making for the make-along. So the pattern that I will be making for the make along is actually a test knit that I have signed up for and been accepted to for Sophie of the Knit Pearl Girl, and it is her up and coming Tendreil sweater. And so this sweater is actually going to be, or planning to be, released on October 29th. So it will be out once I announce the winner. If you are interested in making this sweater for yourself, that's something that you can make with your prize if you win the prize. In terms of the sweater, it is a slightly oversized drop shoulder sweater with a lightning bolt cable on the shoulder. So it has this really nice detail on the shoulder. And Tendreil is the Manx Gaelic word for lightning. And so that is where the name of the sweater came from. The sweater is knit on both 4mm or US 6 needles, as well as 5mm or US 8 needles. And the gauge is 17 stitches to 24 rows. And so Sophie knit her sample in, let's see, she knit her sample in Santa's garn. Let's see, she knit hers in Santa's garn double Sunday, held double with Knitting for Olive, heavy merino, I think. I don't know, sorry. These are just the recommendations. So she knit hers in Santa's garn double Sunday, held together with the Santa's garn tin silk mohair. So that is what she used for her sample. And so I want to show you what I will be using for my sample and my gauge swatch. So this is my gauge swatch here. And I was able to meet gauge. And so I knit this gauge swatch in the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in the color Oatmeal, or Oatmeal Heather. So that's this color right here. And I'm holding it together with Drops Kid Silk. And I forget the color name of this one, but it's color 20. So that is the Drops Kid Silk, and it's just this, it's blowing out on camera. It is like a kind of like a toasted beige, like an almondy beige color. So it's a really beautiful color. And so I chose to not only go with some budget yarn as my main yarn, but also budget mohair for my mohair so that it can be a completely budget-friendly sweater. And I will do the final tally once I finish the sweater in terms of the amount of yarn that I used, but it should come out to about $60 US for a full, you know, large, oversized drop shoulder sweater knitting, being held double with mohair. I think that's a pretty good deal. So that is the project that I will be working. So now, in the interest of making this a budget-friendly, affordable make-along, I have pulled 15 free patterns that all could be knit up using Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. So I have created a Ravelry bundle, which I will link below, so you can take a look at these patterns, and then over time I'll likely be adding additional patterns, including paid for patterns. But for right now, we're only including 15 completely free patterns for you to knit with this yarn. So as always, I will be sharing my Rabbit app so that you can see what I have on my screen. And I will be starting with accessories, and then I will go on to sweaters. So the first projects that I have here are the Doble Tøfler, or Tøfler, which are these felted slippers, which I have been meaning to make for the longest time. So these are completely free pattern. They're made in several different sizes. The gauge is 15 stitches to 4 inches in stockinette before felting, and then you knit the slippers. I think it's like knit in a really long tube, and you kind of like slip it inside one inside the other. So it's knitted and felted with this particular Norwegian yarn, and it's worked from the heel to the toe. And so this pattern itself is actually free and only available in Norwegian. However, I am going to go ahead and link you to a Knitting Traditions episode where Inga actually translated this pattern, if you're interested in making it, into English on the screen. So you can take your notes from there and you can go ahead and knit yourself up a pair of felted slippers. So the next pattern that I have for you all is the Antler Toque by Tin Can Knits, and this is a pattern that I have featured here on the channel before, and it is just this beautiful beanie with this really stunning, really thick cable design. And it is just absolutely stunning. In terms of the gauge, it is knit on a worsted weight, 18 stitches per inch or per 4 inches, and it uses anywhere between 120 to 200 yards. So this is a perfect pattern if, let's say, at the end of your project, a big sweater project, you have leftover fisherman's wool that you'd like to use. And the nice thing about this pattern is that it is sized from baby to adult. And so here we have the description. This cozy cable toque is perfect for a trip up the grind as the fall grows colder, or perhaps to keep you warm beside the fire on a cool coastal evening. Knit from the brim to the crown. In the round, it knits up in a jiffy. So another really great pattern to take a look at for this knit along, or make along, I should say. So the next pattern that I have to share with you is another hat pattern, and it is called Molly by Erin Ruth. And you can see this is a really beautiful hat pattern. It features a broken rib design with a really stunning just large cable that goes up one side, I should say. And again, this is a unisex pattern. It is designed in worsted weight yarn with a gauge of 20 stitches to 28 rows in stockinette. Again, it's using about 200 to 236 yards, so perfect stash busting. And it is described as a fun slouch hat with cables that continue up into the crown. And here you can see some of the various projects that have been knit up in this pattern. So another really stunning design. And then the last accessory pattern that I have for you all is a cowl, and it is called the Cable Cowl, and it is designed for Lion Brand, and I believe it's actually designed for fisherman's wool. And so it is a beautifully cabled cowl. It features all of these different cables. It looks like that has a moss stitch in there as well. And so this would be a really great pattern for a cable beginner to really be able to practice their skills. You're knitting in the round, you're knitting cables, and I mean, look at this one. This one looks really great. Yeah, I mean, just a really great cowl that again is very unisex. And so yes, it is designed for Lion Brand fisherman's wool. So it is an Aran weight, 18 stitches for 4 inches. And it uses approximately 465 yards, so one full skein of the Lion Brand fisherman's wool. And it is described as a lightly felted Aran-inspired cowl that features beautiful cable stitches, making a great unisex accessory. So you lightly felt it so that, you know, it gives it more of that windproof nature, which is really great. So the next pattern that I have to share with you all is a sweater, but it is a baby knit. And so this is called Trellis by Britta Stolfus. And this sweater was originally published in Knitty Mag. And it is just a beautiful little Aran style cabled button-up vest, or button-up cardigan, I should say. And I mean, it is so, so cute. So in terms of the yarn weight, it is recommended to be knit on Aran weight. Gauge is 21 stitches to 28 rows in pattern, and it uses between 392 to 490 yards. and it is available in sizes baby, 6, 12, and 18 months. And so here are some of the finished projects. It looks like some people have actually taken the pattern and made it adult size as well, but these are absolutely stunning pattern projects, I should say, on Ravelry. So another really great pattern to work up if you have a baby in your life. So the next pattern that I have to show you all is a cabled sweater with a really dramatic turtleneck, and it is called Nestle Road, and it is designed by Nora Gahn. And this is an absolutely stunning sweater. Just look at these samples. I mean, it is really, really nice. It's just like it looks like it's a seamed sweater. It has this really dramatic cable panel down the front, and then the rest of the sweater is pretty simple, so it gives you something to look forward to as well as something to relax with. The yarn weight is Aran, and the gauge is 17 stitches to 23 inches in stockinette. It is available in bust sizes, let's see, 36 to 64 inches. Is the way that I'm reading that. And it is described as a luxuriant 3/4 sleeve pullover with a slouchy turtleneck, oversized A-line shape, stunning cable and lace column, narrow sleeves, keep the silhouette in proportion. So really, really stunning design. The next pattern is one that I believe I have also featured previously on the podcast, but it is the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits, and this is just a classic pullover sweater that, I mean, has so many finished projects, and there's even a matching hat if you wanted to make a matching hat. I mean, there are over 26,000 projects, and rightfully so. It is just a really, really beautiful sweater design. It has many different recommendations here, but in terms of the pattern itself, it is designed for a worsted weight. 18 stitches per 4 inches is the gauge, and depending on the size that you make it, because it is knit for the entire family, you can use anywhere between 220 yards to 2,100 yards. And so it is graded from 6 months or 0 to 6 months all the way up to 6XL. And so the pattern is available through their app for free download, and it is a really easy knit where you can learn how to knit a garment. And if I remember correctly, it's knit top down. Let's see. I'm not able to find the pattern description completely, but if I remember correctly, it is knit top down, and it is a raglan construction with this really nice detail down the side of the sleeves. So the next pattern is another tin can pattern, and this is a cardigan. It is called Harvest. And again, this is just a really beautiful cardigan. It could be knit. Actually, this looks like someone took this picture at Rhinebeck, this purple sweater. But it can be knit to any length. If you want a full length cardigan, if you want a cropped cardigan like this one, you can knit it to your hip length. It's a really easily adjustable design, and so many people have knit it in various different yarns. In terms of the pattern itself, again, it calls for worsted weight at an 18 stitch gauge. You're going to use anywhere between 250 to 2,300 yards because, again, this is graded for your full family. So from 0 to 6 months all the way up to 6XL. And so, again, this is knit top down in one piece. So there will be some purling, but I think it'll be well worth it for just a classic cardigan. So next, I couldn't miss including a traditional Aran sweater as we are knitting with an Aran yarn, and that is the Honeycomb Aran sweater, and this is released by Yarnspirations. And I mean, this sweater is just absolutely stunning. The cable work is just like absolutely amazing. You have all of these various different cable panels. I could definitely see this being worn fitted here like it is on the model, or even more oversized for a nice classic cozy look. It was originally designed in Patton's North America worsted, so it is a worsted weight pattern. The gauge is 19 stitches, and the yardage is 1680 all the way up to 3150, and it is available in extra small all the way up to 5XL. And so the finished bust measurements are, let's see, our finished bust measurements are all the way from 40 inches all the way up to 62 inches. So you can really wear this with a bunch of different ease options. So the next sweater that I have to show you all is the Turtle Dove 2, and this was put out by Espace Tricot. And I believe I have featured the Turtle Dove, just the Turtle Dove on the channel, which is a lighter weight version of the sweater. But this is a beautiful oversized raglan sweater with a turtleneck, and it has really nice voluminous sleeves for a super cozy sweater. It also features a split hem detail that you can see here. And in terms of the sweater specifications, this is knit on Aran weight yarn, 16 stitches for 4 inches, and it is available in sizes from 45.5 inches all the way up to 69.5 inches. And so this is described as nearly identical to the original Turtle Dove sweater, except that it is knit at a tighter gauge. Okay, so I guess the original Turtle Dove is knit at a looser gauge. It is a loose raglan style sweater with a turtleneck and a modern silhouette. So another stunning choice for the make along. Another sweater that I have featured before and I am featuring again is the Maya cardigan, and this is an absolutely stunning color work cardigan, and the fact that it is free is just, you know, beyond amazing to me. I believe it was originally designed in Let Lopi, and as you can see here, she uses quite a few different colors for her cardigan. However, the inspiration for this one came, especially because Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool, as you may know, only comes in really neutral colors, is my inspiration was of Rebecca from Bea, who knit a couple of these in just 2 colors as opposed to the multicolor color work. So I think that that will be an amazing choice. So yes, it's originally designed in Let Lopi. So an Aran weight, the gauge is 18 stitches to 24 rows, and it is available from an extra small to a 4XL. And so this is a free pattern from Yarbo. Next, we have another free pattern that is put out by Barocco, and this is another sort of sweater with an Aran feel, but this one is different because the Aran panel or the Aran cable pattern is only on the front and the back and not on the sleeves. And so it is called Crossvine. And I mean, it's just a really stunning, pretty simple sweater, beautiful cable detail up the front and back. And it is originally designed in their remix yarn, so an Aran weight. The gauge is 17 stitches to 23 rows in stockinette stitch, and the pattern is available in 36.5 up to 70.5 bust. And so let's see if we can get the description here. There is no description, but in terms of the tags, it is worked flat, but it has cables, it's a crew neck, it is seamed, and it has a positive ease. So that gives you a little bit of a feel for what the pattern is like. Next, we have a pattern that has been on my to knit list for quite some time, and it is Rug by Junko Okamoto. And this is a free one size fits all pattern. And so essentially you just figure out your gauge and then figure out how it's going to work for you and your particular gauge. It just has like the most stunning color work design across the top, and it is just absolutely beautiful. It has over 1,500 projects. It was originally designed in a bulky weight, but again, because you can sort of knit it at whatever gauge you get, you are able to sort of play around with the gauge if you do your math. And so the original gauge is 15 stitches to 17 rows is 4 inches in stockinette stitch. And so let's see, the design here is, my pattern is oversized and a little unique. However, many kind people have tried it and they think that Junko's pattern is fun. So this is a really fun pattern that obviously has been knit many, many times. And so my last two patterns I'm leaving for last because they are technically not fully size inclusive. However, they do have a pretty robust size range. And again, because they are free patterns, you can take pieces from the pattern and apply it to patterns that you already own that you know fit you well, so that you can recreate the pattern if you need it in a size that is not your own. So the first one was featured in Knitting Magazine, and again, the designer is Nora Gone, and it is called Beatnik. And I love this pattern because not only because of the cables, I mean, the cables are just absolutely stunning, but that really wide sort of boat neck, double folded neckband just gives it that, you know, that kind of like 60s, 70s vibe, which is absolutely stunning. And yeah, I mean, it is really beautiful. It looks like it's moss stitch on the sleeves, and then the cable pattern, yeah, that looks like moss stitch. And then the cable pattern is down the front and the back. So it was originally designed in Barocco Remix, so again an Aran weight. The gauge is 18 stitches to 23 rows, and it is sized for 32 to 56 inches. So again, not fully size inclusive pattern. Apparently there is a Spanish translation. So the instructions are for knitting it flat and in the round. So I think it looks like the knitty version is likely knit flat, and then the translation also included instructions on knitting it in the round. So yeah, I mean, absolutely stunning work with a lot of different projects finished on Ravelry, so you can definitely see it on a number of body types. And then the last pattern that I have to feature today is called Ades, and this is another free pattern from Barocco. This is a really, really old free pattern, and I've actually knit this one, which I think I'm going to destash because it no longer fits me. It is when I was much smaller bodied, but it is a beautiful cabled open cardigan. And so this is what it looks like. It features these really beautiful cable panels for your front. It also has a really stunning cable in the sleeve. And so this is what that pattern looks like. And then it has a really nice thick shawl collar. I know that they recently re-released this pattern because I think the original yarn that they used was one that they no longer sell, and it is technically sized for super bulky. However, I have knit this at a worsted weight at a more open gauge, so you're able to do that as well. The gauge is 15 stitches to 16 rows, which is 14 inch at equals 4 inches in stockinette. And again, this is knit for bust closed 32 to 52 inches, so not fully size inclusive. However, this is one that can easily be adjusted by adding in like stockinette panels down the side and your sleeves, so that you can make it add larger sizes should you need it. And again, this is a pattern that is pieced together, and it's described as a feminine fitted cardigan that has all the cozy antique appeal of traditional Aran texture. So another really great contender for you to make for the make along. So that is all that I have to share with you today. I hope I'm able to edit this video down. It is quite a long one for a make-along introduction, but I wanted to make sure that not only I explained the make-along, but also gave you some free resources if you wanted to join along and knit one of these free patterns. If you are joining in the make-along, definitely let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you're planning on making. And again, all makes are welcome as long as you're using Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool as your main yarn that you're using, and as long as it is a finished object. So all sizes, all accessories, all different items. So I hope that you are able to have fun with this. And if you're like me and many knitters out there that I have heard from and have Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in your stash, this will be a perfect opportunity to get it out and use up some of your stash. But I will leave you here today. If you like this video, of course, do all the things, like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified every time I post a video. And I will see you next week with the monthly podcast episode. Until then, bye.